Hello guys, I hope you all are doing well. Today's answer writing discussion video is over GS paper 2019 paper 1. Why am I selecting this is that today we have a very special question to be discussed which is direct but is from the geography subject. Now, why have I selected this question is because this question is direct, is simple, and it's on geography which you haven't started preparing. Yeah. So if you are focusing on polity, if you're focusing on history right now, but you really want to complete with geography, don't start with the syllabus. Start with the question and answer because all the questions are very direct, and once you've written the answers, you'll realize what sort of questions are asked and you can study accordingly. So let's start. So the question here is asking us about the coral life system. The first thing that we need to know is what is the corals, where are they located, and where can we actually find them, how are they disturbed because of the global warming. Why? Because the question is asking for the example too. So you can clearly not just write about the coral and its essay, you need to put up with the examples. This is the question. Coral reefs are limited to the tropical seas. There are different types in different areas, and if you have done geography, you can revise coral reefs this way. If you haven't done geography, you can learn at once. And for people like me who are just focused on answer writing and not the topic currently, can just jot down the relevant points for the answer. So they are found in North America, in Australia, and most common in Pacific Ocean and in the Indian Ocean. So these are there. Then the most important area is Australia and also the Philippines that we have. Then we have few coral reefs are found outside the Indo-tropical area also, like the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea. Now what we have to do is, with these locations as our example, we have to figure out what all problems are faced in what all places, and accordingly we can start writing our answer. So for the answer, what are we doing is, we need to start with an introduction, then we'll frame our body about the impact, there several points, and then the conclusion where why is the protection necessary, why is the coral reefs important in our environment, and what can we do for the global warming thing to end so that we can proceed further. Like I've always said, for introduction, instead of introducing and defining everything that's asked in the question, we can just use the facts and the figures and can end our answer and our introduction in a very crisp and short way. So what can you do? You can write, you can mention about the special report on global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius, and you can say that yes, they have said that global warming will likely rise to 1.5 or whatever their facts and figures are. You can also look for some facts and datas mentioned everywhere in Google about what are the effects on the coral reefs due to the global warming and how they are projected to decline by a further 70 to 90% at 1.5 degrees Celsius. You can look for them, you can mention these, and trust me, these would be a better introduction than any introduction that you could copy, mug up, or just somehow chipkofy there. This could be the best alternative. Now, when we come to impact, this is the main body, and definitely we need to involve all the examples that we can think of at that point of time. So, the first impact could be bleaching. What do we mean by bleaching? It is whitening of corals due to the loss of symbiotic algae that is already present there. Why does it happen? Due to the climate change. A warming ocean causes thermal stress, and this thermal stress contributes to coral bleaching and infectious diseases. What could be the example? Coral bleaching at Great Barrier Reef, Australia. This could be our first point. Second point, mineral composition is affected. How? When the change is there in the temperature, when there are sea level rise, the composition of minerals in ocean changes, resulting in deaths of the aquatic animals due to their inability to adapt to the change. So, what could be the example? Decline of coral cover in the Caribbean Sea. So, this way we've written our second point too. Third point could be the nutrients, as in the phytoplanktons are the major source of nutrients for the corals, and they sustain their lives in optimum subtropical temperatures. So when the example can be given that reduction in phytoplankton in subtropical waters is seen. So somehow the nutrient is losing, the mineral composition is there, the issue of reduction in pH levels, and thus we can also come to this body and we can enhance our answer with all the examples that's there. There are also land-based releases that affect the coral reef life. How? Because of the sedimentation, because of the waste, the bad, hazardous, toxic things that are released by us, by consumers into the water, and thus with the sedimentation things get ruined, and that also impacts the thing. But you can add this in other things, but you cannot add it in this answer as a separate point. Why? Because this question is asking for the impact of global warming and not of the humans on coral life system. So you could involve this in maybe nutrients when you write that also with this things are happening, but here you can only mention about the global warming. So bleaching is due to the thermal stress, nutrients is due to the overheating, and mineral composition is also due to the temperature change and everything. You can also talk about the population of coral reef, like the habitat and the existence of the coral reef that is getting impacted. Why? Because coral reefs generally mutate in the ocean side where there are cooler temperature, but due to this warm temperature things are getting ruined, and thus the mutation is not getting possible for them, and that is why maybe the population, the existence can be hampered. Then we come to the conclusion is as usual. What could be the measures about it? See, protection of coral reefs is essential. Why? Because we can write about it, helps us in tourism, it helps us in fisheries, they are all important contributions, and all of these depend on the coral reef system because they bring the beauty, they bring the occupation. Global warming needs to be taken care of. Why? Because yes, you know that. So the first step could be reduction in carbon emissions, like it's here. Shrink your carbon footprint to reduce greenhouse gases, and the possible things are there. So we don't have to elaborate this much and enhance our answer beyond the words required. So we can just talk about that, yes, the carbon emissions could be reduced. You can mention the Paris Agreement that is there because that's also talking about the global warming. You can mention all the reports that has been published, or the institutions or the initiatives of which India is already a part, which looks toward the bringing down of the global warming, and thus in the long run reduction in global warming would be beneficial to all the sectors of the country. And to enhance coral reefs, you can also do our part, and thus you can conclude your answer. This is a very small, crisp, sweet way of answer writing. And thus now if you go to geography, I am sure when you start with coral reef you would already know about a lot of things about where they are, what they do, and you would just have to re-revise or learn about their life or whatever the syllabus is required. But somewhere at that point of time when you'll be doing your geography, this answer will act as your revision and not something that you're doing something in a new way. So I think after watching this video it would just take you 1 hour maximum to write your answer this way, and thus you are done with a confidence in your answer writing, and you're also done with an answer. Alright guys, this was it with the Saturday's answer writing discussion round. This was a very easy question, very straightforward question. I'm not going with the tough ones right now. We will first look into the easier ones. We'll first go through our confidence raised, and then after that we'll focus on focus on the tough ones, focus on the analytical ones, but these are very direct ones. These are things that are easily available on Google or any other sources, and thus we don't have to magajmari with our brain that way. So yeah, this was it for today's video. Do look into the answer, do look into the question, and do write. this is it. Thanks for watching.